Hello everyone and welcome to another haul from Deviant.fun. We're going to empty some boxes and show you the latest editions. These ones we haven't shown in any way, not even with stills. So this is really first-hand news. And so we've got 3 books here. Let me put this aside and let's start with this monster book. It's really called Monsters by Barry Windsor Smith, Sir Barry Windsor Smith, and it's a huge book, as you can see. It was released this year, and let's see what it reads here. So the year is 1964, and there's a guy named Bobby Bailey that doesn't realize he's about to fulfill his tragic destiny when he walks into a US Army recruitment office. It turns out that he wants to forget his past, he's looking for a future, so he's the perfect candidate for a secret US government experiment, an unholy continuation of a genetics program discovered by the Nazis nearly 20 years earlier in the waning days of World War II. There's a guy that will intervene, that sets off a chain of cascading events that spin out of everyone's control as the monsters of the title multiply, becoming real and metaphorical. The story reaches the crescendo of a moral reckoning. So let's see how it looks inside, because the cover looks great, at least for me. I love this cover. It's almost uncolored, but it's really splashy. It's got a great effect. So the artwork is black and white, and it's very old school but super detailed. Look at this. It really looks like an old book. Even the lettering. Now the lettering has gotten more standard, but we saw that those types of letters in the beginning were a bit weird. This is like a mixture of manga with traditional comics. It does remind me of some dark mangas. So this is supposed to be in the horror genre, and maybe some terror too. It's a huge book. Here you see some, like a Frankenstein, probably it's our guy, Bobby, transformed by the experiments they did on him. Here we have what seems to be letters being read as the action goes. It's an unusual book, and it seems to be an unusual book, at least to what regards to artwork. There's some writing again, but it's super cool. I love the shading effects with the squares and lines, really retro. Okay, enough of this, we've seen enough. You've got the overall feeling. So this is Monsters by Barry Windsor Smith. Keep an eye on this, because this seems to be a treat. Then let's skip to one of the other 2 that I've shown here. So this one is from the Firefly series. It's the first part of the Unification War. So Firefly is a series created by Joss Whedon, but I think that the writing here was left totally to Greg Pak. And I really dig Greg Pak's writing, so I'm curious on reading this one. So From Joss Whedon comes a new era of Firefly, as the definitive story of the Unification War is told at last. Okay, let's check the artwork. This is from, forgot to see the year, but I think it's 2020. Yeah, December 2020. So it's relatively new. The paper is not glossy. It's, how do you say it? I keep forgetting. Glossy, when it's not glossy, it's, damn it, matte. Yeah, but the artwork is cool. Nothing, nothing out of the ordinary, nothing too special, but it really looks great. I think the coloring, what I love more is the coloring work here. Really like the palette. Though it looks digitally painted sometimes, but I really dig the colors. So some sci-fi, action-packed. That's what you can expect from Firefly. Okay, it's got a big section of covers, variants, a lot of them actually. It's a big part of the book. And then some biography around the authors and etc. That's Firefly by Greg Pak, illustrations by Dan McDade, from the mind or creation of Joss Whedon, known from Buffy the Vampire. Not that that's a great recommendation, but yeah, at least for me. Next, what's up? Judge Dredd Control by Rob Williams, Chris Weston, highly recommended by Garth Ennis. Well, that's a big name recommending here, but we know what that counts. It counts for nothing, because pals are pals, and they'll probably just say, I recommend this because I'm friends with this guy. But yeah, let's believe it is true. So this seems to be some kind of compilation of things that were out from 2012, 14, 16, 17, 18, 19, and 20. That's the feeling I get. I didn't read the book. Let's see if the artwork changes a lot, and if it does, then we'll know it's really an amalgamation of tales. Judge Dredd is super colorful, super detailed, you know. Well, it wasn't always like this, of course, but nowadays it is. This is exactly what you expect from a Judge Dredd comic. Super vivid, super detailed artwork. Well, until now, it all seems very consistent in terms of artwork, so I'm not really sure why all those years are there. Okay, I love this rain effect, super cool. Oh, sorry, it wasn't well centered. This crocodile guy is cool. Big bike, Judge Dredd in style there. Elevator pitch. Well, this seems like, yeah, originally published in 2000 AD, Progs 288, 289. Yeah, it really seems it's small stories. Hope they have a thread that connects them. Wouldn't want to. Yeah, the death of Danny Cannon. Yeah, but the artwork looks great. And notice that the format isn't quite like a normal trade paperback. You see, it's wider. So that's pretty cool. So next, a big change in size. Whoa, I'll have to zoom it. No, I won't mess with the zoom. Jujutsu Kaisen. It's a manga that has been creating a lot of hype, and so we want it in our shop, and I want to read it too. So I ordered a copy for myself. Like I said, like I've been saying, I want to get more educated, literate in manga, and this seems like a good starting point. I wouldn't say starting point, but complementary read, because I've been reading some manga, just not enough. So Jujutsu Kaisen, it says here in the summary, in a world where cursed spirits feed on unsuspecting humans, fragments of the legendary and feared demon Ryomen Sukuna have been lost and scattered about. Should any demon consume Sukuna's body parts, the power they gain could destroy the world as we know it. Fortunately, there exists a mysterious school of Jujutsu sorcerers who exist to protect the precarious existence of the living from the supernatural. So we follow the trajectory of Yuji Itadori, which looks like your average teenager, but he has immense physical strength. Every sports club wants him to join, but he just wants to hang out with the occult research club. And one day they release something with an artifact. They release something really bad. So that's what we'll get on Jujutsu Kaisen. Superpowers, occult, horror. That's it. So can't tell you much more because, like I said, I haven't started reading the series, but it's really popular these days. Next in line, the newest Blade Runner 2019. As you know from previous videos, well, you might have not seen it, but I've reviewed at least Volume 1 of Blade Runner 2019. I've read Volume 2 too. So this mixes. I'm not expecting this one to be very different. So it's a mix of sci-fi with police crime murder mystery. And so we have our protagonist here, Ash. So it says here that in a city still suffering from the effects of the blackout, Ash, once the huntress, is now the hunted. As the LAPD, the underworld, and a rogue group of replicants search the city looking for her. So she's got no friends, a price on her head, she's nowhere safe. So she has to look for help on unlikely sources as she follows her leads towards the mystery she's trying to unveil. So I really dig this series until now. I haven't read this one because it mixes two genres I like. Some people might say that this is not sci-fi enough because of the name Blade Runner that it bears. Well, but I like it because it has a lot of crime and investigation around it, and that's one of my favorite genres. So for me, it's a powerful mix and a very satisfying one. I'm not a fanboy of Blade Runner. I like it, of course, not of course. I could have disliked it, but I like it. But I do like more this less sci-fi oriented and weirdness oriented vibe of these books. They're more mundane, more character centric, more than the world and characterization of the world, we see characters and the characterization of those characters. It's more character focused than world focused. So I'm eager to read this one, and I'll have to read number 2 again to refresh my memory where it left off, because I must confess I don't quite remember every detail. So that's it, Blade Runner 2019. It's by Mike Johnson, Michael Green, Andres Guinaldo, and I'm pretty sure it came out this year. Yeah, it came out on last February. Blade Runner 2019 for sci-fi, crime, murder, etc. fans. Next, well, this is something that was missing for us. We have 1, 2, and 4. Now we've got book 3 from Transmetropolitan, so we've finished the run. Transmetropolitan by Warren Ellis. Illustrations by Derek Robertson, perhaps, or is he a writer too? No, he's an artist, and Rodney Ramos also. So this is not, of course. Well, you can see it's not a. If you look at it, well, it could be an actual book, I mean, recent book. But it's not. It's been around for some time. Let me see. This edition is from 2020, but the book dates from 2002, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, originally published. Yeah, 1999, 2000. So it was from the beginning of the 21st century, end of the 20th century. So it's got some years on it, but it is said to have aged very well. And it is a series that I have not yet picked up. It almost gives me tears to my eyes that I still haven't picked this up. I'm so eager to start reading it. It's such a cult. There's such a cult around this series. Everyone loves it. I remember talking to a guy about my shop, of course, and he said, "Oh, a friend of mine lent me a comic, a graphic novel. It was called, I think it was Transmetro." And I said, Transmetropolitan? Yeah, that's it. And I really liked it, but I only read the first book. So it was the only thing he had read, comics related, and he really liked it. He didn't finish it off, he didn't finish the series, but it paid a toll on him. It left some mark. And probably it almost pulled a new person to the comics world. Yeah, he just needs a push, and he'll become a comics reader. I'll try to make sure that happens when I meet him again. I'll bring up the subject and probably lend him some books. Yes, that's how powerful this series is. So now we've got every one of them in stock in this book version, which is the nicest way to read it without spending a fortune. Of course, you've got the absolute Transmetropolitan and etc., but these are very affordable versions. Next, Nailbiter returns. So this is a series that we also love. This is number 8. It came out in the beginning of this year, I think, volume 8. March. In March, well, it was just last month. So we're missing some issues in the middle. Not to say almost all of them. We don't have them in stock for now. So I'm not going to show a lot because some of you might be following this series, and yeah, there might be spoilers here, just to show the art to the people that don't know it. So Nailbiter is around Let me see what it says here. Maybe it will summarize it better than myself. No, this is just opinions. So there's a place where bad guys are. Well, it is a town where serial killers just seem to appear from nowhere, from under each rock, and one of them is the nail biter, known by his signature, gave him that name. And so it is a crime, a little bit of occult and horror mixed in, as we follow the detectives that are trying to solve murders, and they actually have this guy, this nail biter, which lives freely in that community. He can't leave, but he lives there, and he actually plays a double role. You can't actually figure out at least by reading just the first volume, if he's playing along with law enforcement or if he's got an agenda of his own. But he cooperates and helps them. That's a fact. So yeah, there's that doubt.